Welcome to episode 14. It's Sunday again, and wow, it just feels like the end of the year is just around the corner. And on a side note, I was in Milan this week at the Host 2025, which again was really busy, but well worth it as I could have 20 small power meetings without having to fly to 20 other different cities. One of the surprising takes from this is that almost everyone I spoke with said how much they were enjoying the podcast and the story. And most of these suppliers were all along for the ride with me and are still considered partners. Business relationships are personal, and I'd just like to say thank you to all of you for all your support along the way. None of this would have been possible without your support and confidence in us. Last week, I told you that I was officially out of Cafe Caps and all the South African entities tied to it. It was a bittersweet moment. I started the whole thing back in 2009, literally in a converted garage, and somehow managed to build it into a real business. We fought through the Nespresso hurdles, endless cash flow struggles, and everything else that they could throw at us. But I'll be honest, one of our biggest mistakes was choosing what I thought was the easy part with Kevin. By easy, I mean making him the sole distributor and then letting him buy into Cafe Caps. In doing that, I basically handed him control of the business. And yep, that turned out to be one of the worst decisions I've ever made. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, Eurocaps was flying. Nils, together with Peter and Steve, was running things like a Swiss watch. The company was growing by leaps and bounds, and their biggest problem was trying to keep up with orders. Here's something pretty amazing. Eurocaps landed the Lidl account before the factory was even operational. The very first order was produced as a trial run for a little subsidiary called Kaufland. And where do we produce it? In Cape Town, of all places. Wild, right? Now you might think, how hard can it be to expand? Well, here's the thing. Making coffee capsules isn't exactly plug and play. Filling and packing lines take 12 to 18 months to build. Molds, 4 to 6 months. Industrial grinders, 6 months. Plus shipping. These were made in the USA. And you all have to pay for it all upfront before they even arrive. Then, of course, you need a building to put them in, all with the proper power. All of these machines consume tremendous amounts of power, nitrogen, and then air compressors and the whole ecosystem. If just one of the things are missing, the entire operation grinds to a halt. But hey, that's a better problem to have than lack of sales. And if that wasn't enough, Eurocaps was now gearing up to launch Dolce Gusto compatible capsules, which meant an entirely new factory, because the Nespresso factory was still bursting at the seams. Busy days, but exciting times. Now do you remember Bas de Wet, one of the early drivers who helped bring all of us together? Well, by this point, Bas was burning out. One night at a braai or barbecue at my place in Clifton, after a few too many drinks, he admitted that he was done, totally burnt out, and he wanted out of the business. He said he was valuing Eurocaps at 100 million, and in his mind, that's what the company should sell for. He was having panic attacks, wasn't sleeping, and honestly, he just didn't look well. When he got back to the Netherlands, things really blew up. He started literally fighting with the other Dutch partners, demanding that they buy him out. Lawyers got involved, tempers flared, and it got really ugly. Meanwhile, the company was still growing fast. Everyone had their money tied up in it, and trying to pay him out was a huge pressure on everybody. But eventually, after months of tension, a deal was reached. Bas walked away with 7 million, and the Bas de Wet chapter came to an end. The whole 2015-2016 period was really rough. Me trying to hold things together in Cape Town, the guys battling stress and expansion headaches in Rotterdam, but we made it through. And then in June 2017, Eurocap sold a minority stake to Fresh Street, and everyone was suddenly smiling again. It was a big win and a well-deserved payday. And at the same time, the new Dolce Gusto factory was coming together, and a brand new Nespresso capsule was also in development. So honestly, my timing leaving Cafe Caps couldn't have been better. When Neil says, Ed, jump on a plane and come over, that's exactly what I did. For about 6 months, I was flying back and forth, 2 weeks in Rotterdam, 2 weeks in Cape Town. And let me tell you, that sounds glamorous until you've done it. I used to fly out of Cape Town late Sunday night, arrive Amsterdam around 10 o'clock in the morning, take the intercity train to Rotterdam, around 30 minutes, and be in the office before noon. Then leave the following Friday at 10 a.m. to be back in Cape Town 12 hours later, Friday night. This meant I had the longest commute of around 40,000 kilometers per month. It was exhausting, and it slowed everything down. So after half a year of living on airplanes and out of suitcases, I made the call. It's not in my nature to do things halfway, so I reached the conclusion. It was time to relocate to Rotterdam. That's it for this week's episode. If you are enjoying the story, please like and subscribe. And thank you for your time, and we'll see you next Sunday.